Welcome to Melanated and Spiritually Woke. I'm your host, Adorable Earth Angel. I'm a holistic wellness educator of 12 years with a master's in public health, energy healing of 7 years, and have been a Black female spiritual alchemist my whole life. Each week, we'll be sharing uplifting, spiritually focused wellness practices to best support you in regaining your personal power, or we'll have special guest interviews with the same intention. This show is in service to all those listening, and especially for folks of color who are seeking information to support their physical, mental, and emotional spiritual awakening. These practices will help you live your best life. Welcome back to another episode of Melanated and Spiritually Woke. This is Adorable. And this week we are talking about a brand new, fresh energy. Folks, finally, Saturn has moved direct, which is such a big deal for us. Because many of us have been feeling this summer, the 5 months of Saturn, this big planet of restriction, this big planet of just being held back and being delayed in progress. With that planet going backwards, it had been very difficult for us to move forward, frankly speaking, move forward and feel that sense of freedom. So that's a really huge thing that has been lifted. Maybe some of you feel that. The shift happened last week on the 18th of September was when that happened, and we won't start really feeling the effects of that shift until further down the road. That's when we'll really start feeling the shift of what this planet was able to kind of give us and gift us, this amazing ability. And you may be like, well, what's so amazing about being delayed? What's so amazing about not having things happen in a timely manner? A lot. I've been giving this ongoing analogy of the slingshot being pulled back. And now the slingshot is finally released. And it's not going to be this one thing where everything's going to come back at once. But what it is Saturn being the Lord of Karma means that as things are moving forward, there's an opportunity for just deeper integration and maturity. There was something that was matured in your life, something that got the due attention that it needed, and something that got refined. And with all the rejections and the no's and the slowing down and the not now, with all of that rejection came this experience and wisdom that can only be found in that delay of time. And so there's room for a lot of enjoyment. There's room for a lot of delight. And the enjoyment and the delight are really found in the ability to surrender to just your ability to forgive the process I'm feeling. A lot of us felt a little kind of beaten down. But it's, you know what I'm being shown? I'm being shown, though, like an image of a child. And like a child, you know, when a child like falls down and they cry, and then it literally is like maybe a minute and then they're back up playing again. And so I'm being shown to kind of behave like a child, like have the mindset that in this moment, Saturn is the parental figure that is kind of created a parameter and created a restriction and created a no. And the no was done with a lot of love and care. And so in your life, there's an area where there's been some no, or there's been some restriction. And maybe within that, there's been a little bit of crying around it. You know, there's been a lot of suffering. Maybe there's been real tears, or there's been just a sense of just what am I going to do about this? You know, and just wanting to be on the other side. We have the opportunity right now to be on the other side. And the only thing that would inhibit the ability to fully kind of be in this new expression of life is kind of holding back to just how ravaged or damaging that experience just was. As we were in a really challenging summer, a lot of people shifted their profession. Saturn represents your profession, your legacy. It could also represent like family as it relates to the family traditions and your dynamics and structure around family, or your structure around work, or your any structure whatsoever, anything that requires a structure of any kind. There could have been delays in repairing, the structure, like physical structures, like bones in the body, like aren't healing properly, or maybe there was something around there not being a good foundation in the physical home. However it manifested for you, the energy has shifted. And so what next? What is happening now this week is we're moving into a new frequency of hope. And with that, there had been all of this pent up energy. Now it's starting to slowly build towards a new momentum. And so my question is, what are you aiming for? Where are you directing your energy? Because wherever we place our energy is the place in life in which we see the most growth. Wherever we place our energy is where we see growth. That is law. That is spiritual law, which is why we pray and have intentions and make vision boards. Some of us, right? Some of us take the moment and we create within our mind how we want this next aspect of life to unfold. And so there's something really positive about this time moving forward for many of us. There's, within this week, the opportunity to create a prayer for this next, the last bits, the last months. I can't believe this year is already over. The last couple of months as we head into the fall, as we just also passed a really big milestone of going through the fall, the solstice where we shifted from the summer to the fall. We are officially in fall. We're like a couple of days in and we're in this fall energy. And now the summer energy starts to quell and we go into this inward energy. We go into this quiet energy. And right now we're literally in this like middle ground where it's not quite fall enough, but it is fall. But there's still remnants of the summer. There's still remnants of this energy, this energetic shift. So this is a really, really beautiful moment to take heed in your energy. Some people might be feeling very sleepy and very tired as they're downloading just new understandings of what this is all meant for them. A lot of other people are in the process of wanting to rapidly expand. We're going to talk about expansion because that's what's really happening right now. Another aspect that has come up is that we had this big square between Jupiter in Sagittarius against Neptune in Pisces, which has been happening multiple times over this year, which is, honestly could be considered a big bummer because a lot of people who are really heavily into astrology, and even some people who aren't, who are just kind of like picking this stuff up. If you are new to astrology and you're like, what does that mean? What is a square? A square means that there's a tension between these two planets. And how it affects earthlings like us is that, for instance, you have Neptune in Pisces, which is this energy of, it's its home energy. That's for one thing. Neptune and Pisces go together. If you're a Pisces out there, your planet is Neptune. That's your ruling planet. And so it's in its home sign, but that's when it's the most powerful, is when it's in its home sign. So we have Neptune energy, and Neptune is the energy that creates creativity. It's the energy of possibility, of oneness, of mysticism, of mystery, of disillusionment, of kind of like the parts of life that are just vague. That's the Piscean energy. It's fuzzy, it's the person who's kind of walking around loopy. It's like Pisces energy. And with the Neptune there, Neptune is a vibration of love, and it's the vibration of God, source love. So it's the highest frequency of love. And squaring Jupiter in Sag is Jupiter. If you're Sagittarius, your ruling planet is Jupiter. So this doesn't happen all the time. For those of you who are like, wow, that's interesting. The ruling planets are like aligned. I'm like, that doesn't happen all the time. It just so happens that these planets happen to be in their home signs. Other planets are not in their home signs. But, actually, Capricorn is in Saturn right now. So, yeah, that's in its home sign. So there's actually quite a bit of planets in their home signs right now. But back to Jupiter and Sag. So what that means is that there's been this need to expand, this really big need to expand, and like it being in its home sign just really opens up the possibility for some big expansion. The expansion of freedom, the expansion of like the higher understanding of belief systems. Some of you listening to this may be in this process of that this show in some way supports a different belief system that you've never heard before. For some of you, this show is completely what you listen to, and you if anything, this show could go even deeper. And that's our Saturday night show, where we're going to be talking about a deeper topic, a deeper healing topic. But so within that, we have these squares, and what these squares provide is they provide a push. And the square is that there's a need to think about how these two energies are in this kind of halt, this grind, this standstill. That in order for there to be expansion and freedom, there has to be an understanding of oneness. There has to be an attempt at addressing any abilities to not create more oneness, or more connection. And the more that you create oneness and connection, that's at odds with the fact that you still have to focus on creating a sense of truth, and that is your truth squaring this sense of oneness. Is your truth squaring oneness? And so there's been this square, and that's kind of left people feeling like they're going up for something they want to be expanded in, right? There's new opportunity. They're like, oh my gosh, there's some abundance, a new job, new opportunity, new relationship. And as soon as they get there, it's a mirage. It's a mirage. Like they're like, okay, cool. This is a cool new opportunity, because Jupiter is also about opportunities. So it's like, okay, awesome. All these opportunities are right in your face. And as soon as you turn to face them and touch them, they vanish. Neptune. It's just like, because it's also this energy. When you think of Neptune, you think of Hollywood. Hollywood is the perfect archetype to describe the energy of Neptune. Because Hollywood is an illusion. They're showing you something on a screen. They're capturing a certain energy. And within that captured energy, you're sitting in a movie theater and you can allow your mind to believe that what you're seeing is a reality of some kind. But there's no way, if you were to get up, right, and walk up to the screen and walk behind the screen and around the screen, you would see that it's not real. And so, I would say a movie has been the best analogy of this summer. It's that we've had to kind of watch what's happening, but not to the degree where we're actually living what's happening. We're just kind of watching things happen and be like, okay, cool. And as soon as we think what we're seeing is the thing, you're like, this is the thing, this is the thing. As soon as we get close to it and try to invest any energy in it and saying like, this is my truth, the truth changes and it's not the truth anymore. And then there's like, oh, that was the illusion again. And it's just finding like, what is the door that if you were to turn the knob would be the truth? What is the door? And so there's been a refinement. There's been a refinement that we've all been asked to elevate to, because also that Pisces Neptune energy is also about releasing all of the delusions that are not in alignment with our truth. That's how these things have been operating. That there was an idea of what this movie would be about. The subject of the movie of life that we've been living. the subject in the movie of life said that this would be the script. And the script has been altered. And the script has been altered because it's important that in the movie called life, that right now in these times, that we don't succumb to scripts that are not in alignment with what we're supposed to be doing. As the actors in life, there's certain scripts we had held on to. And this summer was amazing. In this summer, how everything worked out was, as I mentioned, Saturn pressed pause on the movie. Saturn pressed pause. And as Saturn pressed pause on our lives, it just hit the stop button. So we're sitting and we're moving, and there's no forward momentum. There's no creating of new things. Because Saturn represents our lived experience. It represents structures and it represents like opportunities to actually be in the world in a way that's tangible, to be like here and to be seen and to be recognized and to have an opportunity to contribute. And so there hasn't been like new opportunities to contribute and build and create new things. Saturn's about creating these new things that are visible and are viable by the world. The world can look at that thing and say, yep, that's a thing. Saturn's been about that, right? Saturn stopping and going backwards has us going inward, like creating inward structures, like building up an inward grit and resolve. That's happening. It feels so good to break this down too, to just put all of this together. So we have Saturn doing that. We have this square that I talked about between this energy of illusion and expansion. And Saturn's saying, look at this. Look at this. Look at this energy of illusion and expansion, and determine what are you really dreaming about that's going to really bring about the big shift, the big structural shifts that you need in order to really make your dreams come true. I'm going to say that again, and I'm speaking right to you. What are you going to do to allow there to be a shift of the movie, a shift of this movie that is on a loop, that had been on a loop, but that got paused. And then there was this teasing out of this story. There was a teasing out. So imagine that there's the pause button on the movie and you're stuck in a certain scene and you're just acting out this scene like Groundhog Day. Because oh my gosh, this is such a perfect analogy. I love how this show just flows into my head. I think maybe I brought up Groundhog Day before, but this had to be the most Groundhog Day summer ever. You wake up, there's this thing, and you're doing the same thing over and over again, and your life is not going anywhere. It's paused, and you're just spinning in this Groundhog Day motion. And finally, when there's an alignment of understanding what the value system is, the values that are really, really important to you, that are in alignment with the furthest expansion, your truth. Saturn looked at you this summer with Jupiter and Sagittarius and Neptune and Pisces. All of them looked at us and they said, you're not moving anywhere until you really get clear with what is your truth. What is worthy of you putting your truth into? And because that Neptune and Pisces is saying, you're a spiritual being, you're connected to God, and there's no moving forward unless you're willing to be clear with that truth. With the truth that your work is not just for you, that your life is not just for you, that there's something bigger than you, and that you are a tool, you're a vessel for changing the world. But let's get real. This isn't about the ego. And that is what these three different astrological experiences created for a lot of people. that certain relationships and certain jobs and certain opportunities, and I keep speaking about jobs because Saturn was like so related to work, and we had the eclipses happening this summer as well. So I didn't even talk about, not even to mention the eclipses, just having all of that energy happening at the same time. It created a lot of confusion. And so this week is just a kind of week. It's a week to rest. Everything's moving forward, letting that energy integrate, like the energy of that slingshot being released can be overwhelming, to go from having basically radio silence and then now having all the inspiration, like all the inspiration that you've been wishing for and dreaming for and hoping for is now here. And so taking it piece by piece, the advice is to write everything down. Erykah Badu is amazing. Just a simple quote by Erykah Badu. She's like, write everything down. Get out a piece of paper and a pen and write everything down and watch that ish manifest. I can't curse on radio. Watch that ish manifest. That's the Erykah Badu quote. And she gets it. She gets like how we manifest things. And the spirit of manifestation is an interesting thing that I want to break down for Saturday's show. I want to talk about manifestation because I think it's an interesting topic. I myself have been on my own journey. I'm definitely like not a manifestation master to the degree that I'm. I take that back. I definitely do feel like in some ways I've learned a lot about manifesting, and I've had a lot of great opportunities. But something I would share about it in the time that we have left is, anyone trying to manifest anything needs to be mindful of the fact that at this point in the game, manifesting, which is basically clearing up anything that blocks the energy of flow, of abundance, is in relationship with a true inner connection to your higher self. And what does that mean? And what does that mean in plain English? That in order for you to manifest anything, there has to be an agreement and a resonance between your higher self and the very thing that you are trying to manifest. That those things are in alignment. Because if they're not in alignment, then that's not going to happen. Not only that, there's also a couple of other things. Like the influences of the planets are amazing. And you can call upon those energies, like as you listen to me talk about this, right? As you listen to me talk about these aspects that had been limiting the expression of manifestation. That in knowing that, hopefully this show in some way created a sense of relief. And in the energy of relief and in the energy of surrender, there's the opportunity for manifestation. There's the opportunity for manifestation when there's the ability to let go and feel relief. And that's amazing. That's amazing to know that at your core. And so this is why I speak so much about meditation. Meditation is one of the most profound tools for manifesting anything your heart desires. It is one of the most underutilized spiritual tools in the Black community. In the brown community, it is underutilized. It is underutilized. We do not think about meditation as being such a powerful vehicle of social and spiritual change, but it is. It is one of the most amazing opportunities for us to create. And there's so many layers upon layers as to why. And I want to save space to have a deeper conversation about that and have a really big opportunity to talk more about manifestation. Because a lot of people are wanting their lives to look a lot different. And there's many tools to make that happen. There's many tools to have a very different life than what you're living. And one of these gurus that I've been connecting with, a Kundalini, which is a form of yoga. It's a form of yoga, and there's a teacher I've been following called Guru Jagat, and she was saying something about the process of coming into alignment. And the one thing many things stick out to me in her talk, but the one thing when I heard her speak that she spoke to that I found that was profound, she's like, many people prepare for the idea that someday they're going to manifest all the things that they want. Just by saying, I want $1 million, I want the partner with the abs, I want a new car, I want a healthy family. These things that are kind of really beautiful, big things. Having a healthy family, if you've had like alcoholism or drugs in your family, that's a big manifestation. So all these different things that we want to manifest. What she said that was interesting and profound is that we can wish for these things, but one thing that we don't wish for is the ability to maintain the frequency of these things, which is it's so different. It's so different for us to want these opportunities, but what's different is the preparation to be able to hold and maintain the new status. It's one thing to say, I want to be a millionaire. It's another thing to say, I want to have the strength and understanding how to maintain millions of dollars. That is a different prayer. That is a different prayer. And we know why we don't pray like that? We don't pray like that because there isn't like a real authentic notion in our mind that we could actually have the very thing that we're praying for. So we don't actually say the right prayer. The right prayer would include the ability to maintain that manifestational state of being, not so much the thing itself. And then the right prayer would also be the right intention for making the statement would also, it wouldn't be, I want $1 million. It would be, I'm so grateful for all the millions of dollars that I maintain. Because the universe speaks in vibration, and the universe speaks to what you feel is happening right now. And it gives you more of what right now is. And so right now, if you feel abundant and you feel like you're a millionaire and you speak to that feeling, regardless of what's in your bank account, you speak to the feeling of having good health. You speak to the feeling of having a beautiful, supportive, loving partner. You speak to these truths that you really care about, and you speak to the ability to maintain and sustain more so than just having like this one-shot wonder type of thing. Like, I'm so grateful for my ability. I'm so grateful for all this money that I have and the ability to maintain all this money. I'm so grateful for this beautiful, loving relationship and this continual growth that we experience is positive. These are the type of mantras that shift the conversation in your life. And what you may notice, and I'm saying these mantras as we shift towards the end part of today's show, because this is definitely the homework of us, myself and everyone listening. This is a great homework assignment. Because of the time that we're in right now, being at this, just passing the equinox, this is another great moment. This is a moment of harvest, but it's in recognizing that we planted a lot of seeds, both good and bad. And you can actually choose what you want to harvest, right? If you were a farmer right now and you were going out into your land, it's fall, so this is the time to start picking all the things that you planted in the spring, and you were going to go harvest. And if you saw some food that didn't grow the right way, you wouldn't cut that food and bring it and put it on your produce stand and sell it. You would not pick that food because it's not worth your time and energy, and it's not what you really wanted. So some of us might be finding with this Saturn going direct, with all the other planetary transits I mentioned, that yes, Yes, adorable. Yes, cool. I do feel more energy. Okay, I could see how you're right about that. I could see how things are moving. But maybe there's some things that came up when as things were, reversed. Now that things are direct, both positive and negative things could still be coming up. And this is a beautiful time to harvest the positive. Focusing on the positive. Again, wherever our energy goes, our life flows. And so I feel complete for now, and wanting to talk more about manifestation again, and all of the various components. But I mean, I feel like I hit some really good markers. I feel like we as in the energies that flow here, and we're in conversation. I feel like we've hit a really good understanding and flow. And again, please connect with me on Instagram under Adorable Earth Angel. I love to connect with you. I love to answer any questions that you may have. Please follow me on Instagram and stay in conversation with me. And until next time, I am so excited and happy to be in service to you in this way. And I'm wishing you a beautiful and amazing rest of your day. Love and light.